Try to keep it short.
You're welcome.
We can interpret some of these slightly differently because, well, you'll just see. Nintendo fan asks us, do you think that Tears of the Kingdom had as big of an impact on gaming as Ocarina of Time did?
No.
No, I don't think so.
No.
But I think it's because Breath of the Wild exists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could make that argument about Breath of the Wild, but
Sure.
Yeah.
not Tears of the Kingdom.
This conversation is like 7 years too late.
Yeah.
I think Tears of the Kingdom has a lot of really innovative stuff.
We'll see stuff from it. I think, yeah.
But I don't think
Yeah.
that it's going to have the same impact that Breath of the Wild has had.
Okay, so has Breath of the Wild had...
That's not the question.
I know,
Yeah, that's
but
not-
I'm
that's
just...
not the question. An
We
argument
will
could
not
be
be
made.
talking about this beyond
An
that.
argument could be made. However, we are talking
I
about
don't
Tears of
know.
the Kingdom.
No,
Okay.
the answer is no.
No, it's a quick no for
Cut
me.
End it.
I mean, do you want an explanation? Ocarina of Time was the first 3D game ever. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
We never did it before.
None of the games we've been playing for our podcast are in 3D.
They spent years making polygons, trying to figure out how to put them together.
I will say that I've been playing a lot of games, Nintendo 64 games that I had never played before. I had played probably a handful of them.
You could
including
feel the lack of Ocarina of Time in them.
I could feel the lack of Ocarina of Time. Definitely.
Just you wait.
Yeah.
And we're playing some bangers, though, to be fair.
Yeah. That's not a knock on
Still very good games.
all of them.
There are just certain things that Ocarina of Time is known for like certain like the Z-lock mechanic and different
Yes.
other stuff like that.
Even
you know.
just some of the like camera manipulation.
Sure.
Yep.
Playing some of the early Nintendo 64 games, I was struggling with some camera manipulation.
Yeah, look at Mario 64 compared
Yeah.
to Ocarina of Time's cameras. Huge jump.
Mhm.
Huge jump.
Locking on and stuff.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's like say theoretically we are comparing the impact of Breath of the Wild and not Tears of the Kingdom to Ocarina of Time. It's something that's like it's a weird thing to quantify. Like we were just watching a video about Doom, and they were talking about ways that it was an upgrade from Wolfenstein 3D. It's like one of its predecessors. And it's so early on in 3D gaming that it's like, oh, it invented having like non-square grid-based walls and like multiple levels and stuff. And it's like, it's hugely innovative. And then some people are like, well, a lot of those are like obvious innovations, but it's an innovation nonetheless.
Yeah.
And it's like it's so much closer at the like point of conception of 3D gaming, like comparatively, like how Ocarina of Time is compared to like Breath of the Wild. Like we're gonna see a huge impact on games trying to be like Breath of the Wild, but it's like the umbrella is so much, tighter around Ocarina of Time where things branch out. So it's almost hard to compare,
That's a big thing where it's like, if you see a bunch of games trying to be like Breath of the Wild, trying to look like Breath of the Wild, trying to be open like Breath of the Wild, trying to play like Breath of the Wild, it's much more of like a gameplay style and approach type thing. Whereas you look at Ocarina of Time and it's like the innovation of context sensitive buttons in a 3D space informing how to develop a 3D adventure game. It's like it's not the same. We're not talking about the same thing, really.
Yeah, I guess there's stuff as simple as like being able to use the same button for different actions.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're in a menu and you can use the A button for certain things versus not being in the menu and using it for something else. But I also think that if we're talking about Tears of the Kingdom, that not enough time has passed to say it has had any impact on gaming.
If it's going to have an impact, it's going to be a Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact 2 coming out next year. A Tears of the Kingdom like.
It's a Tears of the Kingdom ripoff.
I mean, everyone said it with Genshin Impact for Breath of the Wild, so who knows? Yep. Maybe there's going to be some Hoyover's Tears of the Kingdom.
Now the next Pokemon Legends game, you're going to be able to build like hover bikes and stuff.
Yes,
I think we'll see that. I think we're going to see gluing things together in more games.
Gluing Pokemon together.
I would say the biggest thing I can see happening in the future is the building mechanics.
Fuse Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, there is Pokemon Fusion.
Yeah, I know.
And it's terrifying.
Tears of the Kingdom gets some Pokemon Fusion influence.
Yeah, don't fuse with Miltank. Just don't do it. It's bad.
I think in the future, though, in the future, we're going to see a ton of more, like, we're already seeing, like, games trying to do the, like, not a bunch of cursors on your map, or, like, even games. We saw that almost right away after Breath of the Wild came out, where games were, like, giving you Breath of the Games, Breath of the Wild.
Tears of the Wild.
After it came out,
the Kingdom.
Games like Assassin's Creed being like, oh, and there's also a mode where you can turn that stuff off, but like the game is basically the same.
It's just saying more about Ubisoft in general, but yeah.
Turn off all the question marks. Yeah. So yeah, we'll see more of that.
Just turn off the game. I'm kidding. But yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. But it did do some incredible things. It really did. I mean, I know people watch game devs post on Twitter about watching the links of the bridges, like the rope bridges that you connect, and then you build the car to like pull it tight. And they're like, if you're a game dev and you watch this, you know this is the most impressive thing you've ever seen. And having no idea how to build a video game, I'm like, honestly, to me, that is like, wow, that just works. Like, of course it does. But there are, I'm sure, some like game dev things that maybe most people don't notice that Tears of the Kingdom really
did. I think you posted a video that was talking about the Ultra Hand mechanic and the way that they had to kind of like fine tune it to make some of the snap points be like streamlined and natural, so that it made sense for anyone who was playing. Because they were originally going to do like you can rotate it like literally any angle, put it together anywhere.
I saw people say they wish they had that. It would be horrible. Yeah.
It would.
Yeah, no, it would not be.
That would be a situation where people would spend like 15 minutes building something and then it does nothing. Like,
it would take you 15 minutes to build something that would take you like 30 seconds.
It's like Legos have the dots and holes for a reason, you know?
Yeah, right?
I think what Nico said is a good point. Like, I think it'll impact a lot of game dev, but like in ways that we're all too stupid to understand because we don't know about game
We're
dev.
idiots that just talk about video games. We don't make video games. Like, we're not going to know any of this.
Where it's like more obvious, like to any lay person, like how different Ocarina of Time. It's just so much more apparent. You know, it's so much more like night and day. And I think that speaks to a lot of just like the gaps between console generations, like just to a normal person, even though it's like hugely different, it just like doesn't feel like that different to me. You know, like it's not as exciting as like when you first fired up Ocarina of Time and you're like, I've never seen anything that's looked like this and nothing will ever look better, you know?
It's true. And nothing has ever looked better than Ocarina of Time on the N64.
They nailed it.
Definitely not Twilight Princess. Anyway, that was a great question.